Hello, Pavlo with you, and today I've got for you an uplifting daily dose of Ukrainian accent. In our times of eternal economic crisis, I'm always feeling excited when I find some device with good sound for a really affordable price. And it's a spoiler for today's review because today we are talking about Aiyima DAC A7. Aiyima is another company from China that got a lot of popularity recently because they deliver great value for really affordable prices. And here is not an exception. It's a desktop DAC and headphones amplifier with nice design built with ESS 9038 Q2M chip with Bluetooth support and even LDAC codec. Pretty nice, powerful amplifiers, swappable op amps, and that all is sold just for $100. So it's an excellent candidate for present to you or to some of your close friend who is interested in audio. But anyway, enough talks, let's have a closer look. Box is simple and straightforward, just nice cardboard, nothing more, nothing less. Inside you'll get USB cable, you'll get coaxial cable, you'll get Bluetooth antenna. Then goes manual. Actually, I recommend you to take a look because it has some interesting features that you need to understand, like unified and separate volume. And then goes device itself. So let's take a closer look. So here it is. Nice, small, compact, really accurate, but actually it feels rather heavy for such a small device, so probably some solid metal goes for the case. So on the bottom there are 4 rubber feet that provides nice reliable standing on the table. And on the front we have 6.3mm and 3.5mm connectors. Then goes volume knob. It's endless, it's digital potentiometer and it can be pressed. Then there is a toggle between headphones and line out, and on off toggle. They are nice, clicky, so pleasant. There are LEDs to indicate different outputs, coaxial, optical, USB and Bluetooth. And the last one is for different volume indications. So it's a digital potentiometer, so it blinks when it goes to the minimum, and it blinks if you rotate it to the maximum levels. And when you press it once, it toggles between inputs. If you press and hold, it will this indicator will light on, meaning that it's unified volume mode. Because it can remember volumes, and you can remember volume for different inputs separately in the non-unified mode. On the rear side we have 2 separate USBs, one for data connection and second one is for power. They didn't put any power brick in the accessory set. Some probably you can consider it as a drawback, but in my opinion it's just a normal idea, because I don't know about others, but I have a bunch of separate power bricks, and I have cord extender with a lot of USB power supply options. Also there is a line out, you can use it to connect to active speakers, coaxial optical inputs and the Bluetooth antenna connection. Also it has socketed op amps, so if you became a bit bored, you can swap op amps to get a different sound. Just unscrew these 3 screws and you getting easy access to internals. So overall I really like this aesthetics. It doesn't try to be innovative, unusual, it doesn't try to mimic as some kind of computer accessory, just a basic desktop DAC with all functionality you need to use it with. No, well, it's mainly, of course, created for the computers, You can connect headphones and a pair of active speakers, and it will work like a charm. Sound-wise, it's a what can go wrong type of device. I mean, Aiyima took a good DAC chip, added nice capacitors, oscillators, USB interfaces, added good amplification, volume control, and all other necessary parts, and they've got a nice balanced type of sound. It's technical but not too dry, and monitoring uncolored, pretty honest. So basically it's a really good entry-level audiophile solution for those who want honest, uncolored type of sound signature. And also I need to admit that Bluetooth quality here is also really nice. It holds connection well, lag is pretty low. I was able to spot a bit of delay with special test video, but in real life applications like watching videos or playing not demanding games, I didn't experience any issues with delays. And also quality is also nice thanks to the proper LDC implementation. It's of course there is a difference between USB connection, for example, and Bluetooth, but it's not that big. So overall, Bluetooth here is really usable solution, and we are entering that period of time when USB audio can be more than okay. But probably let's talk about everything step by step with examples and things like that. So bass goes deep, it has nice texturing, good resolution. Probably it's lacking a bit of small nuances, but at the same time it's still enough to give you that sense of realism. Instruments are not exaggerated or pushed forward, and bass keeps a good balance between kick and weight. So when necessary it can be punchy and rumbly. When it's not necessary, when necessary it can be warm, enveloping, and pleasant. So overall pretty nice balanced low frequencies with good control thanks to a potent amplifier. And example is massive attack, inertia creeps, and nice bass with different nuances, with different textures, and this device delivers it pretty well. Mid frequencies are uncolored without attempts to represent them with focus on the micro contrast and being super analytical, and without attempts to highlight things like weight and macrodynamics slash emotions. When it's present in record, it delivers you all emotions, nuances, and details, but at the same time not boost them. That means that you'll need better record quality, but of course it's what we can expect. Imaginary stage is above average, not huge, but above average and well developed. Depth layering could be slightly better, but still everything is separated pretty well. I can go nitpicking, like I'd like a bit more accents on the female vocals and stuff like that, but we are speaking about the device that cost $100, and honestly I'm feeling a bit foolish when I'm trying to go with all that audiophilic things to such device. It's natural, it delivers sound, and everything else depends on headphones you will connect to it. And here is a good example, Carrie by Europe. Nice ballad with great keyboard intro, with pleasant percussions and really nice saturated vocal, and it delivers it in a natural way, but still thanks to a nice quality of record, it sounds pretty engaging with all that nuances. And high frequencies, nice extension actually, of course almost zero layering, but once again it will be nitpicking for this price segment. really good attacks and decays, and no attempts to boost high frequencies or to make them softer. So overall, like nice high frequencies that we can expect from the ESS chip, and without any attempts to do something with them, meaning that they will deliver really good both basic and extended overtones, giving you nice sense of realism for the instruments. And the example for the high frequencies, it's Hiromi Uehara Seeker. Interesting track with a lot of overtones going into the high frequency area. Of course, it lacks refinement and all that things that much more expensive devices can deliver, but overall keyboard sounds really engaging, pretty close to lifelike, and that's what we need for such a device. So really enjoyable experience with this track. In terms of pairings, it's a pretty universal device. Background noise is low, unless you're using something super sensitive. But with vast majority of IEMs, absolutely zero issues. And thanks to this potentiometer, you have a lot of space to adjust volume, because you can increments are not big, so you can adjust volume in a really comfortable range for your headphones and earphones. In terms of full-size headphones, it delivers up to 750 milliwatts per channel, and that's more than enough for vast majority of non-audiophilic headphones. And let's be honest, this device is not created for some top-of-the-line planars or stuff like that, but with middle and entry segment of headphones, both including dynamic driver and planars, it will behave really well. So, in terms of comparisons, actually, there is not much device in this price range I can recall. Maybe SMSL D1. It has a fancier design, it has equalizer and that nice sliders. But in terms of sound, Aiyima is better. It's more resolving, more natural, more technical. So basically, you know, SMSL D1 is more like audio card on steroids for the computer. And here it's more like a DAC for music. FIO K11, it's like $40 more expensive, but at the same time it's more focused on the micro contrast and bit more aggressive in representation, while Aiyima is closer to neutrality. So overall, it's a great device if you're looking for something to accompany your computer, to use it with some nice headphones, to get like honest, uncolored sound, to get nice level of versatility. So basically, I can definitely recommend this device in this price range. It delivers even more than I've expected. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.